Yo, what's good, YouTube, man? It's Gary with Fan TV, back at you with a video. Let the content video go smash that like button, let the content this channel. Go and subscribe, man. Look, the Ravens absolutely dominate the Houston Texans 31-2 to move to 11-5 on the season, right? And now they have sole possession of the AFC North. The Ravens control their own destiny when it comes to winning the division. We talked about this previously that the Steelers lost because they had two tough games remaining. That the Ravens will be in the driving seat for the AFC North. But the Ravens had to do their part first, and they did that by absolutely dominating the Houston Texans, right? All right, so a couple of things, right, to talk about, okay? Um, Derrick Henry. All right, we start with standout performance. Derrick Henry, most touchdowns in a single season by a Baltimore Raven. You know, I'm obviously non-quarterback. Non-quarterbacks, obviously. All right, 16 touchdowns for Derrick Henry this year. All right, massive signing. Done nothing but get return on investment, right? And him and Lamar Jackson help each other out, right? Any running back you put next to Lamar Jackson, their value is going to increase. Now you put a Hall of Fame caliber running back next to Lamar Jackson, and you see what can really happen. All right, no offense to guys like we love Gus Edwards, things like that. Gus Edwards was averaging 5 yards a carry because he was next to Lamar Jackson. Now that he's in Los Angeles, it's just not the same. Right, I think he's at like 3.6, something like that, right? All right, so that's no shot at Gus. It's not about that, but it's about the fact that if you put a person of a high caliber skill level next to somebody who already raises the level of running backs next to him, this is what you can see. Derrick Henry has over 1,700 yards this season on the ground. Incredible. All right. Um, then let's talk about the defense. All right, the entire defense gets standout performers. Okay, the defense allowed 0 points. All right, obviously the 2 points came from a safety from the offense. All right, so defense in my mind pissed the shutout. Okay, so we're talking about 5 sacks, 1 interception, and an overall dominant display on defense. The Ravens are not giving up big plays anymore. They gave up, I believe, I know Nico Collins had one like big 30-yard gain down the field, but that looked kind of like it looked like a rubber route. It looked like the person that was, I think Kyle Hamilton was guarding, like he got ran directly into. You know what I mean? And Nico Collins got wide open like that. Is what it is on that one, right? Now, so besides that, the Ravens aren't allowing big plays, right? If they do make a mistake, they're correcting them. I think of Marlon Humphrey, DPI, gets the Texans into the red zone. What does Marlon do? Breaks up a pass on third down, right? Then fourth down, Marlon is the first person to hit Joe Mixon in the flat, and then Darius Washington comes through and cleans him up, gets him out of bounds, right? So when you look at what the defense is doing, how they've turned the corner, the entire defense can stand up for them, right? All right. Then last but not least, Lamar Jackson. All right. We'll talk about the milestone, right? Lamar Jackson becomes um, he passes Michael Vick for the most rushing yards by a quarterback in the NFL in its history. Right, he does it, I believe, in 40 or 50 games less, somewhere around there. I've got the exact number, but I know Lamar is at 102. Mike Vick was at like 140 or something like that. So, um, let's just say multiple seasons less than what it took Michael Vick. Let's leave it at that because that's for certain, right? And no shots of Vick, obviously, but Lamar continues to elevate, continues to show what kind of player he is, right? So we're talking about 255 yards total, um, 10 for 15, 168 yards through the air, 99.8 QBR. QBR is out of 100. 99.8, right? Passer rate 143.9. Okay. So what more do you want from Lamar Jackson? 4 carries, 87 yards, and a touchdown, the longer 48, where um, he hits 21 miles per hour on a GPS. And Jameson Hensley asks about him after the game. He says, "Yes, I was jogging." Incredible athlete, right? Incredible athlete, incredible quarterback, best quarterback in the league this season, and all that talk about the MVP race being done was crazy talk because Lamar Jackson is firmly in it, if not in the lead of it. All right, and we don't have to get into that because I don't think it's wrong to want your quarterback to win MVP, right? Lamar Jackson's gold Super Bowl, things like that. He's won MVP twice already. So for us fans, I think we could do both. I think we can want Lamar Jackson to get all the accolades, all the awards he can get, and still want the team to go far in the playoffs, right? I don't think it's an either or scenario, right? Now for the players, for Lamar Jackson, he can be focused on just winning the Super Bowl, right? That's his goal, right? But guys like us, people like us who talk about it, we want him to win MVP, man. It's okay, all right? Um, so yeah, that's a stand-up performance, right? So then let's just talk about the game. All right. All right. So we talked about keys to the game, right? Sorry, I had a little bit of mic issue, right? So the keys to the game went in the trenches on both sides of the ball. That was the key to the game, right? And that's what the Ravens did. All right. So we talk about Will Anderson Jr., right? He had that one series, I think it was second quarter, right? He stuffs Derrick Henry. The next play stuffs Keith Mitchell, right? Besides that, the Ravens offensive line did really, really well. All right. Lamarcus made a lot of plays out of structure, right? The big play to Mark Andrews, the touchdown to Isaiah Likely, right? But in the straight drop back game, the offensive line did their job. And then in the run game, they did excellent, right? Todd Monken, I want to give Todd Monken a lot of credit, right? The shotgun run game with Derrick Henry has taken leaps and bounds of improvement since the bye week, right? Before the bye week, it was okay. I would say it was probably the weakest part of the Ravens run game, right? The pistol was decent. The undercenter was really good. I felt like the shotgun run game was something that wasn't all the way there. Now the way they're incorporating motion, they're using more trap blocks, whams, getting downhill. They're letting some of these defensive linemen get up the field, thinking that they're coming free, just to get sealed by a Ricard or get sealed by a guard. What Tom Monken has done in the run game, um, he's had some of these throughout the season, right? Like I think about the plays versus the Bills, the long run versus the Bucks, right? But now it seems like they're doing them more consistently, right? So to me, that's the first step, right? Of winning the trench, right? Get established on the ground. Like I said in the past game, I thought it was pretty good as well, right? Um, Other side of the ball, right? We're talking about 5 total sacks, okay, from the Ravens defense, right? So on the defense, Roquan, Kyle Van Noy, Chris Board, Matabike, Odafe Owe. All right. And some of these came off of simulated pressures. I know the Van Noy one, it was a stunt between him and Matabike. Chris Board came free off the edge, got CJ Stroud to the ground early on in the game, right? So the way that the Ravens defense is not even calling pressures is what I wanted to see, right? I felt like early on in the year, the games, the stunts, the twists, they weren't working, right? So whatever they've done after the bye week, or really since middle of the season, vast improvement as well, right? So the Ravens took this game that they had to win, right? And they won it in the exact way that this game was supposed to be dominated, by dominating the line of scrimmage on both sides of the ball, right? We knew that the Texans, we knew that the strength of the Ravens is the run game, right? Um, obviously, well, Lamar Jackson is straight to the Ravens. But you know what I'm saying, as far as what they want to do to get everything established, first they want to start off with a good run game, right? They started off with that. That opened up everything else. Okay. Then the other side of the ball, we mentioned that the Texans have possibly the worst offensive line in the NFL. When you talk about how they played down to all the injuries that they've suffered on that side of the ball, okay, and the Ravens took advantage, right? When the other team is weak in the area, your job is to expose that weakness repeatedly, and that's what the Ravens did. All right. So to me, that's a great sign, right? And then we talk about, once again, now we're talking about back-to-back weeks, or in the span of 4 days, right? The Ravens win the penalty matchup. Texans 5 penalties, 49 yards. Ravens 3 penalties for 30 yards. Okay. Ravens 0 turnovers. Texans 1 turnover. All right. Um, and really, if you want to be honest, Texans had 2 turnovers. They turned the ball over on downs, at the goal line, for the goal line stand. So to me, that's 2 turnovers. So Texans 2 turnovers. Ravens 0. Okay. All right. You win the penalties. You win the turnover battle. You run the football. You got Isaiah Likely, Mark Andrews on the field at the same time. You got Patrick Ricard getting the adequate amount of snaps in my mind. Okay, 25 to 40%, somewhere around there. Really probably a little high, probably 30 to 40% is what I would say Ricard needs to see the field. Okay, um, right, and you still getting Zay involved. I don't think Bateman had a catch today, but it wasn't a passing. This wasn't a passing game. This was with dominating line of scrimmage. We're gonna run it right down your throat, right? So, this kind of game, it is what it is when it comes to that, right? But when you talk about a team getting ramped up, getting ready for the playoffs, right? Doing the things that you want to see them do in the playoffs, if they're going to take home the championship, they're going to take home the Super Bowl. The Ravens are playing about as well as you want to right now. All right. When I think of all the things that have caused the Ravens strife in the past, they're answering some of these questions, right? Going against Pittsburgh, a team like this play man coverage, can you guys get open? Can you guys win? The guys won, right? You limit the mistakes, right? There was some mistakes in that Pittsburgh game that maybe on another day they go a different way, but they went the Ravens the way that day, all right. But you win the turnover battle that game. You win the penalties battle that day. You come out play Houston, right? This is a different kind of game plan, right? Now you still want to run the ball. You still ran the ball really, really well versus Steelers, of course, right? But this game versus the Texans was all about, can you dominate the line of scrimmage? And they did that, both sides of the ball, right? So now you're not only showing me a team that can win in one way, you're winning in multiple ways, right? This Houston team isn't what they were last year or even what they were at the beginning of the season, right? But you got to play who's in front of you, and the Ravens dominated who was in front of them. Simple as that, right? That's what I want to see. All right. So for this team going forward, you got the last week of the season. Lamar Jackson will not be sitting out like how he's done in years past when the Ravens have locked up a position, right? They're going to be playing this game versus Cleveland to win the game and lock up the AFC North. And that'll probably get them. I haven't looked at the standings, but that'll probably get them the 4th seed or something like that, right? And, I don't think the Ravens can get higher than 4. Somebody can correct me if I'm wrong. They may be able to get 3. I'm not sure. I had to look again. But point being, winning your division is one of the first goals you have to start every year. All right. So the Ravens can win the division. That's a milestone, right? Then it's going to winning in the playoffs, right? Simple as that, right? So this game, it was about as stress free as you would like. All right. The Ravens started off really hot. Run game was going. And then, they hit a little lull in the second quarter. They did, that's when the safety happened. And, but the defense stayed strong. And, the defense, they hitting the lull. But the offense kind of had a little bit of a lull in the second quarter. Lamar Jackson woke him back up with the great play to Mark Andrews. Mark Andrews getting caught, right? He couldn't believe he got caught, but I could. We saw how he was running out there. But anyway, Ravens still managed to score on that drive, going 17-2. They come out at halftime, and nothing's changed, right? I believe right out of halftime, that's what Kyle Hamilton gets the interception. Ravens get right back to running the football, get another touchdown. All right, so from really the first kickoff to the last runs of the game, the Ravens dominated the game. Okay, so in the current state of the Houston Texans, that's what the Ravens should have did, right? And I'm happy that they did it, right? So no complaints from me on that end, right? So good game for the Ravens. You take this game, you use the momentum, you get a little bit of a break now, right? And then you go on and you play Cleveland, right? So hold on, let me see when the Ravens next game is. I mean, I know it's versus Cleveland, but I just want to see the exact date. So January 5th, right? So and today's day after Christmas, right? So December 26th, right? So you get a nice 9-10 day break before you got to go ahead and play the Cleveland Browns, right? So it's like the Ravens get another little mini bye week, all right? So the 3 games in 10 days is still absolutely hell. I know like the NFL did that, but at least on the backside of this, the Ravens get a little mini bye week before they got to go play Cleveland and at home, Cleveland at home, right? So in M&T Bank Stadium to secure the AFC North title. Couldn't ask for anything more. Cleveland is probably going to be playing Dorian Thompson-Robinson again. And yeah, like that should be a dub, right? So I'm happy for the Ravens. I'm happy for Lamar Jackson becoming an all-time leading rusher at the quarterback. Happy for Derrick Henry having an outstanding season. Happy for the defense, man. The defense has come leaps and bounds, right? One little tidbit, then I'll leave it, right? Last week during the game versus Steelers, the announcer said that, I already brought this up, that Roquan was having to control all 3 levels of the defense, right? Now, since they've benched Marcus Williams, he's only had to control his level and maybe some of the defensive line stuff. Kyle Hamilton has completely taken over, taking accountability and stepped up in the back end, right? That's what star players do, right? Not only step up, take accountability, also go out there and still make plays, right? So this Ravens defense has come leaps and bounds, and starts with a lot of key players, and it starts with coaching too. So shout out to Zach Orr. Shout out to Dean Pease for right now, right? We'll see how that goes, but shout out to John Harbaugh. You got to give credit where credit is due, right? You got to, right? And yeah, man, we'll keep going for here, right? So give me your thoughts, give me your comments. Find our comments on Gabriel to the Fan TV. I'm out.